in this edition of RPPV News. Our nurses are called to action. A nudist beach has pollies hot under the collar. And we farewell an RPP legend. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. It looks like we spoke too soon last week when we said the tide seemed to have turned on COVID case numbers. The number of active cases in our region has tripled in a week. Frankston has leapt up to 1,360 cases, while the Mornington Peninsula has an almost identical 1,362. This is likely due to cases spreading through classrooms after school returned 2 weeks ago. Our maternal and child health nurses are doing their part in the current crisis. The recent Code Brown has meant they are being commandeered by hospital birthing suites and wards. These nurses are also qualified midwives and will be helping out at Frankston Hospital for the next 6 weeks. This means maternal and child health services will be reserved for our community's youngest and most vulnerable residents only. Some services may be paused or cancelled for older infants and for children and families with no additional needs or concerns. But this doesn't mean help won't be available if you do need it. The United Australia Party has thrown its hat into the upcoming election ring here on the peninsula. They have put forward candidate Morgan Jonas for the federal seat of Flinders. Mr Jonas told RPP that his campaign will not be manipulated by United Australia Party founder Clive Palmer. The 37-year-old local businessman says he is excited to be nominated for the seat, but says he will shape the campaign and platform.
I've been observing politics for quite some time now, and came to the opinion, I suppose you could say, that we have some problems in our country which are not being adequately addressed by Labor and Liberals. So from being on the sidelines, I thought it would be a good time for me to throw my hat in the ring, and here I am.
Along with Mr Jonas, the other 4 candidates for Greg Hunt's soon-to-be-vacated Flinders seat are the Liberal Party's Zoe McKenzie, Serby Snowball for Labor, and the Greens' Colin Lane, as well as Independent Despy O'Connor. At a more local political level, our Shire councillors have been getting hot and bothered about a local nudist beach. Briars councillor Steve Holland says concerns have been recently voiced about the appropriateness of the clothing-optional Sunnyside Beach in Mount Eliza. At Tuesday night's Shire meeting, Councillor Holland introduced a motion seeking wide community input on the matter. The beach has been attracting nudists since 1986, but it seems some locals are now wanting a cover-up.
I think it's important that everybody in the community has their say, and I think what's important to note is in the debate tonight is distinguishing between residents in the immediate vicinity, whether they use the beach, if they don't use the beach, why not, and perhaps giving us some ideas and using it to crowdsource some ideas that can solve some of the problems that they've raised with their local beach. I don't want to presuppose what the community is going to say, but ultimately the clothing optional status of Sunnyside Beach is a matter for the state government.
There are 3 clothing optional beaches in Victoria, including Sunnyside, Point Impossible Beach in Torquay and Southside Beach near Point Addis. Public Transport Victoria is running a 12-month trial Flexi ride service on the peninsula. From Monday the 21st of February, there will be a new on-demand bus service replacing bus route 787 between Safety Beach and Rosebud, as well as route 886. Flexi Ride has no fixed route and only operates when booked. Passengers can book a trip from their nearest bus stop and travel to and from designated bus hubs located at Dramana Hub Shopping Centre, Rosebud Plaza, Rosebud Hospital and Rosebud Village Shopping Centre. Flexi Ride will operate between 8 a.m. and 3:45 p.m. on weekdays. To find your nearest stop or make a booking, call 8710-6377 or download the Flexi Ride app. 50 new tankers are being rolled out to CFA fire brigades across Victoria in a boost that ensures volunteer firefighters are well equipped to protect their communities. The new vehicles have been funded by the Victorian Government's CFA Capability Funding Package, which was announced in June 2020 after severe fires devastated countryside. The fleet includes 48 heavy tankers and 2 light tankers, all of which allow a full crew to sit within the vehicle cabin. The first local stations to receive tankers by mid-2022 will be Shoreham, Hastings and Murdoch. The full rollout will be completed in 2023. And it was with great sadness that family and friends said goodbye to RPP star of radio and television Judy Banks-Phillips this week. At a service in Bangholm, mourners were encouraged to wear bright colours as they celebrated the life of the gregarious, warm and talented broadcaster. She will be very much missed by all here at the station. After the break, we go to David Robertson with this month's Bendigo Bank Market Update.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks. But there's another big bank snapping at their heels. It's been around for over 160 years, has 1.9 million customers nationwide who bank in branch, online or with their mobile app, and is regularly voted one of Australia's most trusted brands. Who is this bank that has everyone's attention? Welcome to Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Established in 1988, Progress Signs has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
The transition from pandemic to living with the virus continues to take shape. But the economic recovery, whilst promising, remains uneven and elusive. Our latest thoughts a month into the new year. The reopening of our international borders on February 21st is a significant milestone, and the combination here of high vaccination rates, strong household demand, and very high levels for job vacancies should all combine favourably with a resumption of tourism, both domestic and international. The Omicron strain dealt a cruel blow in January to businesses, especially in the services sector, where the recovery post-Delta was just gathering pace. But the surge in Omicron cases does appear to be peaking, and labour markets remain as tight as ever. The latest RBA forecasts are for unemployment to fall below 4% this year, and show employment after the second dip from the Delta lockdowns, with no expected fall in aggregate employment from Omicron, although a noticeable fall in hours worked. This suggests that demand remains high, which, once Omicron numbers have levelled off and as booster shots provide their protection, should see employment and hours worked march steadily higher as the economy rebounds. The reopening of borders to overseas workers will also help with the Omicron wave disruptions, as businesses deal with shortages in labour supply. An unemployment rate below 4% will be the lowest since the 70s, and this trend is being seen all around the world, with record low unemployment today in New Zealand, the Eurozone, and in a dozen US states. Other RBA forecasts in their latest monetary policy statement include GDP growth of 4% this year, on top of 4% in 2021, and core inflation to rise above 3% by mid-year, the first time the RBA has faced an above-target inflation scenario since the GFC. As the chart shows, our consumer price index is much lower than most countries around the world, only up at 3.5%. But inflationary pressures are showing no signs of easing, including from tight labour markets. The RBA remain unconvinced that this will be a major issue for our economy, insisting that our lower rate of inflation and low wages growth mean there's no need to tighten interest rates yet. But if and when the unemployment rate does fall below 4%, then wages may well surprise on the upside. As we suggested in our updates through the second half of 2021, the prospect of falling unemployment, the success of fiscal policy, and the resilience of household demand all point to our economy recovering once pandemic restrictions are lifted. But we also suggested that rate hikes in the second half of 2022 would be consistent with this timing and with rising inflation. Most central banks have either started lifting official rates or, like the US and Canada, are on the cusp of a tightening cycle. And while the RBA are only suggesting rate hikes later this year are plausible, we've brought forward our base case for the first rate increase from November to August. The path to a neutral official cash rate around 1.5% may be gradual, and, if accompanied by wages growth, can be benign. But what higher interest rates mean for property values is a hot topic. Our expectation for residential property is for it to only grow around 5% this year, down from the 21% rate last year, but still with regional property outperforming the capital cities. And lastly, for stock markets and exchange rates, the interest rate outlook is adding volatility to financial markets. But based on the relativities of our economic outlook, including strong domestic demand, brisk retail sales and high commodity prices, our markets may be much more stable than elsewhere. And that's the market update from Bendigo Bank.
Now to Patricia with the coming week's weather report.
From Frankston last week to Sorrento today. Hello, I'm Patricia and welcome to this week's RPPV Mornington Peninsula 7-day weather report. Today, as you can see, is another glorious day with the promise of much more of this ahead. Let's unpack this week's weather and break it down. Today, Saturday, the 12th of February, brought us a glorious, mostly sunny day. The UV index reached an extreme level of 11 today and will remain very high throughout the rest of the week, so sun protection is highly recommended. Today we reached a top of 27 with a low of 14. Sunday sees much the same, mostly sunny. Fire danger remains high, so please take care. We should see a high of 32 and a low of 15. Monday sees the sun continuing to shine as we experience an expected high of 27 and a low of 16. Tuesday, another sunny day with some partial cloud cover. We should reach a high of 25 and a low of 16. Wednesday, the 16th of February, sees this season warm weather continue with a warm high of 26 and a low of 14. Thursday brings a partially cloudy day with just a 20% chance of rain. We should see a top of 24 and another low of 15. Lastly, Friday should be another partly cloudy day, also with a 20% chance of rain. We should reach a high of 22 and a low of 15. Well, that's all for this week. With the Catie sooner to reopen and lots of other upgrades and changes, Sorrento has never been a better place to visit. Take some time while the sun is still shining and pop up down and take a look. As always, I wish you all the very best week, and remember to take good care of yourselves, and of each other.
And now to our surf guru, Muzz, with the surf report.
Morning guys, Muzz here with this week's Mornington Peninsula surf report. Another week of pretty ordinary waves in front of us. We will get a swell next week, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, but again, which is not going to be good. So we'll take the best day this week, will be the hot day, which will be Sunday. It should be pretty good on the beach break, so it should be in that 3 to 4 foot range, maybe a little bigger. So that'll mean there'll probably be waves or so around the fringes area, but you know, for February, which is usually one of the good solid months of waves, with great conditions, we've been very obvious. Usually this past week we had a couple of days with the dead flat, and we've had more dead flat days, I think, this year already than we have usually in a years. So hopefully that doesn't do something to get that up. So hopefully getting surf. Sunday is definitely big for days. Saturday will be pretty reasonable as well. But and again, another fun Monday. I'm sure it's relatively happy. Alright, have fun. Hopefully next week I'll get a better report for you.
And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.